am Stella Aloyo Oriang, the head teacher, Bright Future Nursery and Primary School, a primary school within Palabek Refugee Settlement, hosting about 2,000 learners, but also still counting. I'm so much grateful to be part of this dissemination exercise. On my own account, this toolkit is very useful. My own perspective about this toolkit is that it speaks to the heart of a teacher. That ideal teacher who knows that a child should be at the center of learning. A child should own the learning process. It is until a teacher gives time to a learner to interact in a very conducive learning environment, to own the learning process, then learning is taking place. The toolkit again is so much useful because many times now teachers have run away from the ideal practice of who a professional teacher is. That is why when you look at expository procedures, teachers do not expose learners to learn on their own. Teachers feel they are the custodians of knowledge and of learning. But in real sense, a teacher is supposed just to be a guide, supposed to monitor the learning process. So what does it mean? The child should own the learning process and the child should always remain at the center of learning. The teacher should ensure that the classroom is very conducive, there are materials, and the teacher gives opportunities for the learning of this child to take place in a very safe environment. This toolkit, in one way or the other, should really be scaled up across the board, even up to the government system. In this, I will talk about the teacher framework. To me, the teacher framework is a structured guide outlining essential competencies, behaviors, responsibilities, and it is often divided into 4 parts: the planning, the classroom environment, instruction, and professional growth. When I talk about the planning bit of it, it starts from the teacher drawing the scheme of work, the lesson plan, and searching for learning materials. It is until a teacher knows the different learners in his or her classroom. One teacher is not able to do that. That means a teacher is supposed to teach a child than teach the subject that he or she is supposed to teach in the class. So the scheme of work should speak to the heart of the child. The lesson plan should also speak to the heart of the child. What about the classroom environment? The classroom environment should be that one that exposes children to think. Are there learning materials in the classroom? Are the furnitures there? How do the walls, the displays, are they there to enhance the learning process? Does the teacher give opportunity to children to share experiences based on where they come from, based from their own knowledge of the lesson being conducted? Also, same to the learning environment. What about the language that the teacher talks in the class? Does it encourage participation from the learners? Do the teachers ask questions that provoke thinking? Does it provoke creativity? Because these are important skills that we should try as much as possible to impart into the learners. And when I look at this toolkit that we are about to conclude, it immensely talks about creativity, critical thinking, learners sharing experiences, and then learners exploring their own learning in a very safe space. Instructions. If I'm to comment about instruction, is the language of instruction. How do the teachers involve the learners in the learning process? We just looked at our toolkit, especially in the summary. We scored very lowly, but I'm happy on emotional and social context. The teachers are working so hard to see that the emotional and social welfare of the child is being catered for. But there is still a gap to ensure that we allow learners learn on their own safe space. They interact with one another, interact with the teachers, interact with materials in a very safe space. Then professional growth. Looking at this toolkit and looking at the findings, the teachers are still lagging behind. That means in their professional growth, there should be continuous capacity building, externally and internally within the schools. We can do this. How can we improve on the professional growth of our teachers in regards to ensuring that we have playful learning throughout the years? We can do CPDs within the school. We can do teacher activity groups within the school. We can do teacher learning circles within the school where teachers come together to share ideas, celebrate successes, brainstorm on ways forward for their own improvement. All in all, if I'm once again to comment on the usefulness of this toolkit, I would say it is so much useful because it will allow the teachers rethink or come back to their ideal practice of the profession for which they are called for. Thank you so much.
And Lamwo district in particular is a very unique district that is hosting refugees. And we want to thank Lamwo local government for accepting in the presence of the ministry. They have accepted to host the refugees. And that is a blessing to host refugees because refugees comes with a lot of blessings and development. I want to appreciate all your efforts as teachers because I have teachers that are from the settlement and teachers that are from Lamwo district. But do they separate themselves? We're one, because we are still, the settlement is in Lamwo district. So we are one and we are working together. The beauty with the refugees and the partners that are here in Lamwo, the one that we have accepted and allowed, the one that have MOU with the district and OPM, we are working together because without any partner not having MOU with Lamwo local government or OPM, we can't allow you to be here. So for us who are here to know, we have allowed 36 partners that we are working with in Lamwo.
My name is Margaret Achayo. I'm a head teacher of Gloryland Nursery and Primary School, which is located in Palabek Settlement. Actually, my view about this presentation of the finding is positive because it has brought us an awareness on the practices of teachers in those schools where this research was conducted. They have given out their ideas on what they do concerning teaching and what the children also feel about them. So that gives an insight of what takes place within our school setting as regards teaching and learning. And the findings vary. It shows positive practices, but then to me it does not relate very well with the outcome, learning outcome. Because in this finding, the teachers believe they are doing a lot of good things concerning engaging learners during learning and teaching. But then when it comes to performance, because our performance is rated basically on the PLE results, but if we go down even to lower classes, we may not find out that the results of the teaching is very good. So, in my opinion, it has brought us out to know what takes place within the school.
Well,
I think would be a good idea to take it to a broader level because it breaks down key activities that needs to be done concerning engaging children to focus on actually child-centered methodology such that if it is disseminated to a wider area, I think teachers' practices would also change so that they begin to engage children more than doing more than the children. That makes learning real and then permanent.
My name is Joro Ben Washington. I'm the Senior Inspector of School, Lamwo District Local Government. My major work is to support teachers, to provide quality teaching and learning through my support supervision. And of course, I don't do it alone. We also empower our head teachers to carry out support supervision, and we make a follow-up to see the gaps, and we discuss what to be done. Thank you. Thank you very much. The toolkit is very, very good and so enriching. Why do I say that? When you look at the areas that it talks about, it gives more time for learners to express their knowledge and experiences during teaching and learning. It is very good. It is not just a new thing, but it is the lack of enforcement by our teachers. That is why these toolkits need to be embraced and put in practice more. Because when you look at the methodology that this toolkits emphasizes is this child-centered method of teaching. To me, I think as the government, we need to adopt to be used in our schools. Now that we have the national standard monitoring tools that has been developed by the Ministry of Education and Sport, and of course through Directorate of Education Standards that we, the inspector, are using, we need to cooperate it, not at that national level yet, but now that the street child has got some areas where they operate, we need to adopt these toolkits into the system where these people operate, such that the findings and the results of these toolkits, when it is used in the schools, should now be as an eye-opener to the government, such that at a higher level discussion, the government can take it and incorporate it in the system. Because we cannot write from here there now, that we take it to the government. There are some needs to carry out the pilots in the schools where these people are working, so that the government see the impact of the using of this tool in the learners and in the schools. Another thing that I can say, we talk of teachers not doing this method, not doing this and that. The head teachers themselves, who are the supervisors, the immediate supervisor of the teachers, need to be empowered such that they carry out support supervision to teachers to see that these tools are being used and implemented effectively in the school. Because sometimes, our teachers, their attitude also toward work is not very, very much positive, but they need to be supported by continuous supervision, mentorship by our teachers. Then after this training or dissemination that we are receiving, the teachers who are present here and the head teachers, they need to disseminate the same information to the teachers who have not come to this. Otherwise, it will only benefit these teachers who are here. Because the teachers who are here, they are few. We have the head teacher and maybe the deputy or the senior woman teacher. But the higher percentage of the teachers per school have been left behind, which are not benefiting from this.
As I speak now, I'm the most happiest person, because yesterday I started with confusion. But in my interaction with Jacobo and George and you at large, transparency is something which most people don't always accept. But may I say you have been transparent yourself. You have really accepted that in the education system of Lamwo district, there are some gaps. And these gaps are specifically to Lamwo district. I became happy again when the CCT stood up and tried to show the direction to the stakeholders in Lamwo district. Well, CCT, I'm really impressed. I'm really happy with you. And there is also CCT who is a girl child. I was worried about the two Jacob and George having so many problems. But now that the two are around, they are requesting that you work with the street child so that things are being streamlined, they are logical. I had written a lot in my book, which I was supposed to speak today, but I'm convinced that things will really be well. Thank you very much. I don't have a lot to say. I've said I am convinced. Let us stay in touch. Let us stay in touch. Let us be sharing. I believe the education system in Lamwo district will improve accordingly. Like what the cow said when we visited him in the office, said, we are bad enough. Really, we are bad enough because I'm also part of Lamwo now. We are bad enough. But now that we have known and accepted and been transparent to ourselves and to the God, the Creator, I know the strategies, the mitigative measures will be put in place to curb the gaps for God and my country.
Street child deserves a hand of applause from us. I have listened to the dissemination of the results, and even without hearing from you, I already said that this is what happens in our schools. The results reflect the practice in our classrooms. And this is both in Lamwo, although I've not been to the Lamwo schools, but the schools I've been to, this is what you see in the classrooms. So when the research report gives us this, then I am not wrong to say this study was objectively done, and the results are right. So I in a way validate the findings of this study because they align with the practice. I'm happy that at this point the Ministry of Education and Sports, and particularly the Basic Education Department, are involved in this engagement. You know, it is very important for ministry to be part of this journey because we hold the schools, and so we have to know what you take to the schools. Yes, you sign MOUs with the local governments, which is okay, but once in a while it's good for ministry to come down and appreciate what happens. And the reason I thank you for making that decision.
I want to thank all of you for the active participation. Thank you so much. I am a Christian, and the book that I enjoy reading most is the book of Joshua, specifically chapter 24. You remember the Israelites had a very big gathering, and just Joshua felt it important that he must have that gathering. And that gathering was to remind the Israelites about how good God was to them all along the Exodus and the time they were in Egypt. Because the generation that Joshua met at Shechem was a new generation. Out of the entire team that crossed in the Exodus, there were only two, Joshua and Caleb. So the Israelites started misbehaving. They did not know God, they did not know how important God was to them. So Joshua had to gather them and to remind them. So I want to thank Street Child for this gathering. And I am proud to liken it to that gathering in Shechem. And in that gathering, at the end of it all, the Israelites confessed that they are going to serve the God, their Lord. So as school managers, as teachers, I hope out of this gathering, you are going to teach. You are going to teach. You are going to put your profession into practice. This is the sign that we are getting. That notwithstanding, Street Child and the team, I want to confirm that this is a full house. UNSR is here, Minister of Education is here, the district council office is here, the DO is here, the coordinator is here, and all of you are here. This is a full house. So let us make use of this tool. Let us make use of this 2 days engagement. And I sincerely believe that we can make some strides. We can make monumental gains. It is possible.
My name is John Humphrey Ainebiona, and I work with UNHCR as the Senior Community-Based Protection Assistant and the focal person for education in Parabek Refugee Settlement on the UNHCR side.
Well,
I'm happy to be part of this dissemination exercise where Street Child has taken the lead. Very important exercise to find out on our teaching and learning in our schools and to see how to improve it. The tool has been very, very useful and has captured the key issues which we hope will help us to reflect and also get solutions to the challenges our teachers are facing in schools, and to see where the gaps are so that we can bridge those gaps to ensure that our education goes on well.
okay.
Yeah.
Um,
This tool is very, very useful, and the data captured is very useful, and we hope and pray that the Ministry of Education takes interest in the research findings and the tool itself to inform our programming and to ensure that whatever has been discovered, has been found out, is responded to, and the necessary support and tools and resources given to facilitate the improvement of teaching and learning in our schools.
My name is George Opogo. I work with Street Child as the program coordinator. Today is our last day of the stakeholders engagement, where in the last 3 days we brought together stakeholders from Lamwo district local government to discuss the findings of the Play 2.0 project, which is ideally a research project, and it was particularly in line with supporting and understanding how teachers conduct lessons. It's more of understanding the classroom pedagogies that various teachers employ during the teaching. So I'm happy that today, being the last day, we had a lot of deliberations, of which we had stakeholders from the Ministry of Education and Sport who have been with us for the last 3 days. We had the representations of the UNHCR, OPM, and Lamwo district local government at large. We also brought various school level stakeholders. Today being the last day, we had, of course, key actionable areas that we needed to prioritize. One of it is there is already a lot of buy-in from the ministry team, and we already are planning to engage them at a different level to discuss the finding of the Engage project and its toolkits ideally. And then the other thing which is also very key, we now want to start the discussion of how can we leverage on the existing various teaching frameworks within the district and also at the ministry level, because at the end of the day, we would want to see that this Engage toolkit is easily integrated into the existing various teaching frameworks from TIC, teachers' learning cycles, and general CPD or teacher competency framework. So as we conclude today, there are already a lot of steps that we'll be taking. As Street Child, we are much grateful to Lamwo district stakeholders for working with us closely on this, and we're looking forward to work together. As you know very well, the continuous dwindling of funding currently, which ideally is affecting teaching outcome. So as Street Child, we want to really see that this Engage project is scalable and into something that will help our teachers improve on their various teaching pedagogies and also supporting the learning, social emotional learning for our children. So thank you, and I'm just very much grateful for today.